Just in time for its 20th anniversary, we're heading back to 2005 for a holiday rom-com rewind. This week, Jackie and I are revisiting Just Friends. So sit back and enjoy this chaotic Christmas movie from our very first season.
Welcome to the No More Late Fees podcast. I'm Jackie.
And I'm Danielle, and we're just two best friends and ex-Blockbuster employees rewatching some of the best and worst movies from the late 90s and early 2000s. And this week, we are doing our very first Christmas movie. Kind of. It's a Christmas adjacent. Just Friends. And we have the wonderful Sonya joining us. Hi, Sonya.
Hey.
So, Jackie, tell everybody about our Christmas adjacent movie.
Just Friends is a 2005 holiday romp that follows Chris Brander, a formerly overweight high schooler who is now a trim record executive living his best life. He is tasked with signing an erratic, obsessed pop star, Samantha, to his record company. Due to an unfortunate series of events, Chris and Samantha end up staying at his childhood home for the holidays. Chris reunites with his high school bestie who had friend-zoned him long ago. Old feelings resurface, and Chris struggles to keep an eye on Sam while trying to reconnect with his crush, Jamie. It stars Ryan Reynolds, Amy Smart, Anna Faris, Christopher Marquette, and Chris Klein, and was written by Adam Tex Davis.
That explains a lot.
Right? Directed by Roger Cumble, and you can watch it on Netflix.
I, for one, am shocked to hear that there are no women behind the helm of this
So
movie.
shocked.
This masterpiece. Who would have thought? Two guys named Tex and Roger behind this.
But before we start, let's get into our ratings rewind.
So, you know the drill. Before we get into any movie, we reveal the rating our Y2K versions of ourselves would give. Then at the end, we'll see if our current selves agree with our initial rating. Our scale consists of would buy it again,
The best, would play on repeat,
5-day rental,
would watch again.
2-day rental,
It's okay, but nothing to write home about.
and same-day rental.
Trash, where mom threw his hockey skates in the trash.
If you know, you know. All right, we'll start with you, Sonya.
All right. I think Pick Me Y2K Sonya probably would have gone with 2-day rental. Because I realized I have seen this entire movie, but I've never sat down and watched it start to finish until today. Since yesterday, but I'd only ever seen it on like Comedy Central.
Right.
I've seen the entire movie just like out of order, so it was fine. I watched it enough times that I've like parsed it together, but like, I could spot some crumbs of problems that that current day Sonya has a lot of feelings about.
How about you, Jackie?
I can't remember if I owned it. I'm going to go 5-day rental. I remember watching it and enjoying it more so for the Ryan Reynolds factor than like the substance of the movie. And I'm going to go on record here, and maybe an unpopular opinion, I am not a fan of Amy Smart.
Oh my God, me either. I was
Same.
thinking to my husband last night. I was like, she's literally just blonde and thin.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
she brings absolutely nothing. Unless Amy, you want to join the show. We love you, babes.
Right. No, don't want to ruin your. No, that's strictly my opinion.
No, honestly,
for them.
Even in Rat Race, even when she's playing crazy, it's not fun crazy. Like, I can leave her.
I feel like my levels with that is there's Amy Smart, Mina Savari, and what's that other girl's name that was also in Varsity Blues that was in Heroes?
Allie Larder.
Yeah, those bitches.
Oh.
But Allie Larder, I hate the most. But the rest of like nothing.
They're completely interchangeable.
Yeah,
like you could swap one for another, and it would be
I think
the
at
same
least
exact.
Mina Savari at least has like an interesting look going
Yes.
for her. So like I think that's what kind of sets her outside of that category for me personally. But literally, like Amy Smart has the most generic, like it feels like an AI made her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, what's even happening here? I'm bored. Sorry. That's mean. But like I was like, yeah, like feminist icon. And I'm like, I don't like her face.
Honestly, it's not even like their looks are very generic in the sense that we've been there, done that, but from an acting capability,
Mhm.
Also boring.
that's where I'm like, yeah. And I have a hard time remembering their names.
Well,
Mhm.
and compared with Anna Faris in this movie,
Yes.
like
Right.
there's the acting, there is no comparison at
Nope.
all, because Anna Faris is like,
She ate
There's
up
a
every
reason why
scene.
she's still relevant.
yeah.
Right?
Danielle, what's your rating?
Mine is a 2-day rating because I know I watched it,
Mhm.
but I also know that I did not want to watch it a bunch of times either. So I've seen it, I think maybe 2 or 3 times if it was like on in the background. But yeah, 2-day rental for me. Well, this movie, despite everything, made over $50 million.
Out of here.
I don't know what the budget is as of this moment, but I know that they must have had a tight budget because they actually shot the film in Saskatchewan. Ooh, say that 10 times fast, because the city apparently offered them the ability to do it cheaper there. So they did it. It's apparently extremely freezing there in Canada. So
I was like actually trying to place in New Jersey where it was. Like I had some suspicions, but now that makes a lot more sense.
yeah, when I saw the snow and stuff like that, I was like 100%. I feel like Ryan was like, let's go to Canada.
Yeah.
like he was responsible for this. Like, hey guys, I know a place.
They were like, you pick the restaurant. I got you. Let's hear a word from our pod pals.
In the competitive world of podcasting, two BFFs set out to do what mainstream Hollywood refuses to do. Talk about black films. We're looking at you, Academy, with planned guest appearances from absolutely no one, and a love for Regina Hall and Regina King, the likes of which you've never seen. Join Mia and Trish as they continue their epic journey into the blackness of film and television. Grab your finest bonnets and iron your durags, cause shit is about to get real. Like Angela Bassett in Waiting to Exhale real. You know the scene. It's going to be bigger, better, and did we mention blacker? In the...
Okay, let's dive right in, shall we?
We're diving.
Oh my gosh.
It's 1995 in New Jersey. Chris is listening to All for One's version of I Swear.
Which
By the way, I was already sighing. At this point, I was already sighing and rolling my eyes. Like I'm just...
Well, you got to thank Ryan for that, because he was the one who came up with the idea for him to lip sync.
I bet he did. I bet he
he has a lot of ideas.
Right. Yeah.
Like
and
all the
he's
time.
hot, he's allowed to do them.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like, what if we did this? And it's like, yeah, sure.
Okay.
That's why I was like, he totally was like, let's go to Canada, y'all. And everybody said, sure. Everyone said, sure.
So he is signing Jamie's yearbook. He's getting ready to go to her party, which he thinks is just going to be him and Jamie and their friends, Darla, and and Clark. The little touches Anna Faris does in this movie are just fantastic. And so he has obsession wall. It's actually 2 obsession walls because it's like the corner of his room. So where 2 walls meet.
I would have been creeped out by that 100%.
Ooh,
And
it
the
was
fact
not
that
a
it
good look.
stayed up for 10 years.
Yes.
Seek help. Yeah. By the way, because I wanted to check, it takes 3 minutes almost exactly for the word friend zone to be mentioned.
Oh,
I took that little note. That's like
That she's coming with her own trivia.
I love it. And so he's signing the yearbook, and he signs it. Hopefully, I'll be your boyfriend. And is very satisfied with himself, and he's going to go over and profess his love to Jamie through her yearbook. and they're just going to live happily ever after. And
Delusion.
he takes it. Okay. The amount of retainer we see in this movie,
It's gross.
it's
Big
unsettling.
orthodontia, like big orthodontia is really behind this movie.
Yeah.
I don't understand. And maybe it was just the way I had to wear my retainer. I wore it at night and I took it out when I got up in the morning. And then I went about my day. I wasn't randomly wearing it during the day and then having to take it out at weird times.
Yeah.
There was a lot of push.
Saliva and retainer. So he rides his bike over to Jamie's. Again, he's wearing the retainer and takes it out for a second time. And he goes in, and it is the class of 1995 graduation party. And it is literally like a house party that Jamie's parents threw for her. And
what is she wearing? Can we talk about that? Because
Britney Spears' leftovers.
But that was 95. I thought about style. I never saw that. I don't know what was happening there. That
It was
horrible.
a jean dress, but it was strapless. Like it was a halter top.
I feel
almost.
like they wanted to do an 80s movie, and then they were like, oh wait, that wouldn't add up with the time frame. Because that dress was horrible.
I don't think anybody responsible for making this movie has ever met a woman. Like,
No.
that's the only logical explanation for some of these narrative choices and honestly style choices.
Yes.
Yeah.
They literally paired her in a green puffy jacket and a red hat. Like, no woman's going out like that.
No.
I don't care if it's Christmas. No woman is going out like that.
Or at least like not by 2005. Like I feel like if it took place in like 2000, 2001, maybe like that, it's like a little Y2K fashiony, but like by 2005, this is very like niche. Like by 2005, I feel like we were a little bit more coordinated by then.
I don't know what they were thinking. It was garbage all around.
Yes.
A garbage rat.
Yes.
So Chris, prior to seeing Jamie, he walks in, he's like, I thought it was just 4 of us. And Clark and Darla are like, her parents threw a party, but this is your night, buddy. Go get her, Tiger. Like, and so Chris goes upstairs to wait for Jamie in her bedroom. She comes in. She's very obviously wasted.
She got shoes on the bed, y'all.
She looks like
Trash.
She looks like she would. You know what I mean? Like she looks like she'd be that type of person.
Yeah.
I don't really know what that means, but if you know, you know.
Yeah. Agreed.
Our Amy Smart slander in this episode.
And I feel bad. I'm sure she's a perfectly wonderful person. Like, I'm just being a hater. It's not her fault that this movie hates women. Like,
Yeah. I feel like it's her fault maybe a little bit that she didn't say no self-respecting woman would wear that.
Okay, but like also like, so this has been my biggest issue throughout this movie is like women don't operate in a world without empathy. Like the idea that she would just be wild, like as drunk as she is, wildly kicking her legs around, like basically straddling him and just being like, oh my God, like you're such a good friend. No, you're not doing that unless you're trying to fuck somebody.
No.
Like men don't realize how afraid we are of them most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We keep coming back to this concept on the podcast of like, there needs to be at least one woman writer on the script. Someone to just be like,
a woman wouldn't do that.
Yeah, like that's not us. And we are coming off of Crossroads, written by Shonda Rhimes, and it is so wonderfully written for women by a woman. Like it's just, it's beautiful.
What a juxtaposition. Wow.
Right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Jamie is like flailing her legs, showing her panties. Chris is like looking at it. And so then football player comes in, Tim.
I remember Tim's name.
Okay, so let's just talk about Tim for one quick second. I was like, damn, that is a terrible wig on that guy. And then they put him in the bald cap later on.
Yes.
That was his real hair. The bald cap was worse.
The bald cap was bad.
I saw that. I've seen that actor before, and he was in that TV show Men in Trees, and he wasn't unattractive like that
He's
bad.
He's not
But his
that
hair,
bad looking, but it was the hair that was the problem, really.
yeah.
And so Tim comes in with his yearbook and is like just blabbering on, and then they finally kick him out. And then Dusty comes in, and Dusty is played by Chris Pine, and he has long stringy hair and lots of acne and braces and glasses, and he has a stutter, and he's trying to play Jamie a song, and it's terrible. And so you're just kind of like, oh, Dusty got to go.
It's like they said, okay, how many tropes can we pull that make fun of disenfranchised people?
Yes.
Also, like, again, hate women. Like, just the idea that she's like leading all of these men on supposedly and has no fucking clue the effect. Like, it is like the worst Born Sexy Yesterday trope, where it's like this idea that she has no idea about the effect she has on anybody around her, which fine, you're not as well versed at that as 17, 18 as you are later in life. But like, you know that if you're just flinging your legs open or random men are just entering your room, like those are not things that any girl does.
Yes.
Like, those aren't real things.
Not at that age. And I think a lot of this movie really does speak to kind of what we're experiencing now. And this time, if you're on the internet, you see a lot of these videos or these discourses where men are just really angry. Because in a sense, there's a sense of entitlement and there's a sense of ownership.
So Jamie gives him a shirt that, in my opinion, no girl would ever give a guy.
Hello.
It said, shakes come and go, but friends are forever. And it's two kittens drinking a milkshake with their faces on the kittens.
That's when I wrote in my notes, this shirt is proof that this movie hates and fundamentally misunderstands women as human beings.
Because as women, I feel like we are so sensitive about our bodies. So the fact that she has a guy friend that she knows is overweight and it very much bothers him. I could never see her bringing up his weight to kind of advertise this very big insecurity that he has.
And also, it's not like we're not aware. I don't think any girl, unless she was trying to humiliate him on purpose, would give him that sort of thing and like expect him to kind of go around and wear it and not see the problems that might result for him, considering he's getting bullied relentlessly anyway. Like, do they think that women don't have empathy? Because we do.
Right?
We're actually the empathetic ones. That's the thing. That's our thing.
They don't think women have empathy because they have been douchebags their whole life. These are the writers.
So one of the writers, Tex, this whole movie was inspired by Tex Davis's real life experience in the friend zone. So someone got fucking butt hurt.
Real woman knowing that. Like, imagine being that woman in question, like going about your regular life, probably married with kids, like living a perfectly normal, regular life, and knowing that like this was his dream to do this, to like get back at you. Like, ew. Poor life.
Yeah, there's something so wrong with all
and
of
I do
this.
need to say, like, so I mentioned this to you guys off air, well, like pre-air, I don't know at what point, but so I watched this with my husband last night, and my husband was overweight almost his entire life. He was popular though, he was a football player, but like still he was, you know, a big guy, didn't have a lot of luck with women, like pretty insecure, whatever, and then like lost 100 pounds in the year before we got married, so like went through most of his life heavy, right? So I asked him, I was like, how did you feel about this movie, like watching it as a guy who was kind of like living this experience more or less? He's like, I don't know, I kind of saw it as like aspirational. And I was like, that's disturbing. You know, like, I mean, he's a very nice guy, like, despite he's not one of those types of like, oh well, I lost weight to like get back at people, I tried, you know, whatever, like we met in a much more normal way. But like, I don't know, like it just is like, it really did send a very weird message to like guys at that time. It had to have, right? Like, where it's this idea that like, be this person so you can get girls, and but also so you can make the girls who you didn't get before feel bad about it. Like,
life. It also says you are not successful unless you have these monetary things and you're thin.
Yes.
And you're allowed to have sex without any sort of regard for anybody's feelings.
Yes.
Correct.
Like, you know, which I mean, like, fuck around, like, go off. But like, you know, there's a human being on the other end of that genital.
And if you haven't seen the movie, one of the biggest, another character that we're talking about in the intro of this movie is the fact that Ryan Reynolds, he wears prosthetics and he's in a fat suit, which if you lived in the late 90s and the early 2000s, this is nothing new. We saw Monica from Friends. We saw Gwyneth Paltrow in Shallow Hell.
Ooh.
Like this was a trope that, and it still continues to this day. We are still seeing thin actors take on these roles where they're portraying probably a lot of it is when they're portraying characters that lived or that are real, and so they're saying, oh, we're trying to be as authentic. And I kind of just feel like you could still play someone that has, you know, that's real without having to look exactly like them. And if this is the case, if you want it to be as authentic as possible, why not just get someone, an actor who is of that weight?
And honestly, like and mind you, like my husband's big call out is like, why is his face so much fatter than his body? And I was like, good point.
His face was like another one, fat bastard fat.
Yes.
And then his body was like overweight, but not severely obese. It didn't.
And I think too that like it was really gross that like when they're showing him eating, it's like monstrous, like the act is monstrous of him shoving the food in his mouth and making these noises. And I cannot imagine what it would have been like to be fat in the 2000s and earlier. Like,
I mean, it's not fun now, I'll tell you that.
Well, I mean, for sure.
It still sucks. Still sucks. Even though people are fake woke about shit, it still sucks. But yeah, I can't imagine. And even when you're younger and you're not even, maybe you're just sensitive about your weight per se, you see all these things in media, it's just horrible.
That are just like, right, you're a monster for how you eat.
Right.
Yeah.
Or because you're that weight, you are eating insane things. You know, there's so many different reasons for people to be overweight in their life, and it shouldn't be villainized either way. It took Ryan Reynolds 4 hours to put the 12-pound face on. 12 pounds.
Wow.
And when he stepped outside in full fat makeup, that's what they say in this. I'm reading from notes. A fan of his came up to him and asked if Ryan Reynolds was inside. He said yes and pretended he wasn't himself.
I mean, technically Ryan Reynolds is inside. Inside the prosthetics. Yeah. But wow. Although I do have to say, like, fat shaming aside, one of the funniest lines in this whole movie is the random person off camera yelling, "Try a salad." Like,
well, yeah.
I had to pause that and laugh because I was like, that is not helpful. Like, do you think you're being helpful in that moment? Like, what?
So insane. Sorry, Jackie. We have had so much discourse, but
you're fine.
Where are we?
So they hear laughing, and so they go out and they're on the second story overlooking like the living area.
And Tim is like reading the actual letter that he wrote in the yearbook. It's embarrassing.
Yeah. And so obviously Chris is super embarrassed. He runs out and Jamie chases after him. She knows he's upset, so she does go after him. But then she says, "Is that really how you feel? That's the nicest thing anyone has ever said to me. I love you like a brother."
What?
Like, girl,
why?
First of all, we are living in a post, like when this movie was made, we're living in a post can't hardly wait society. Bullshit. She would.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, now we know how this conversation can go. Don't talk to us like we're stupid.
And then everyone's still laughing. They're like following him out of the house, laughing at him.
It's so sad.
And
yeah,
Jamie is still continuing to defend him. She's like yelling at everyone, like, to shut up, essentially,
again without any regard for like the role she might have played and further humiliating him, because you know that's just how we operate. We have no regard for anybody's feelings.
Right?
Yeah, because all of this is her fault. Like, that's the theme we get in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And so then he essentially runs away and says, I'll show all of you. And he actually he paraphrases a line from Bruce Springsteen's Thunder Road. It's a town full of losers, and I'm pulling out of here to win.
Honestly, that's such a New Jersey thing to do, to like take Bruce Springsteen, to quote Bruce Springsteen in that moment. So like that's accurate in my book.
The one thing they got right in this movie.
I'll have to see what our New Jersey friends say when they listen.
So now it is present day. He's at a holiday party. There's a lady in a birdcage.
Yeah. Okay. The amount of detail and time the camera spent on this woman on a swing in a birdcage is super weird to me.
Just and like it goes out of its way to hate women. I cannot stress this enough. But out of its way.
And then you see very cocky Ryan Reynolds having a conversation at the bar with this girl who is pretty much telling him that she's had enough with their relationship and that he's not giving what he's supposed to be giving. And he seems like he doesn't care. And it's that nagging trope that's happening. Mm-hmm. And then you see another woman just standing next to him, hearing the whole thing. And so there's this concept of, okay, I'm so done with you. I'm so hot that I could literally use you up and throw you out.
Yeah.
And that this woman next to me could hear me, see me, watch the whole thing unfold of me being an absolute asshole and still be totally fine.
A woman can scream at you, stop treating me like an object, and you can think, but he's going to be different with me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like the fuck? No, he won't. And we know this.
Yeah, it's bad.
Literally 10 minutes in, I'm like, everybody who made this movie should be charged with war crimes. We were like 10 minutes in, and I'm like, everybody, gulag immediately.
So now Ryan Reynolds is playing hockey.
Because Canadian.
Yeah.
Right. We're in Canada.
To show he can play for another scene that didn't even need to happen later on down the road.
Unnecessary.
And then he's like on the phone, like, you're the bad bunny, like playing into this whole baby talk thing. And I'm like, it's just so gross and patronizing.
And here's the other thing, another concept that I think happens a lot with men, which is men do things not really for the sake of women, but I always feel like men do things for the sake of other men looking 100%. Up at them. And 100%. So it's so we talk about women from the male gaze a lot, but we have to talk about males living for the male gaze themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean gaze, Gaze.
And I feel like a lot of Ryan Reynolds' appeal is kind of male gazy. Like even his still aesthetic is still like, I mean, obviously we all find he is an attractive person. I won't take that away from him. But like, I think some of the fanfare is like men imagine in their heads, like the idea that's like, oh, all girls want a guy that looks like Ryan Reynolds. It's like, no, we would happily accept Ryan Reynolds.
Yeah.
But we'll also accept other things as long as you're a decent human being. Like, goddamn, the bar isn't heaven, y'all still can't meet it.
No. I think the most endearing thing about him to me personally is how witty and clever he is.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
he wouldn't have to be anywhere near as hot as he happens to be. But like, yeah, it does help. But I mean, I'm just as happy listening to him, even if he didn't look the way he did, because he's so quick-witted, and I just find it very endearing. Chris is giving advice to Ray because he's saying, if you take this girl you're seeing out on a date, she's going to put you in the friend zone, blah, blah, blah. And so he's giving advice.
This is straight up pickup artistry. And it's gross.
He tells Ray that, not to have lunch, and no matter what, you have to kiss her. I'm like, excuse me? You're going to get kneed in the balls if you're trying to kiss me and I don't want it.
Chris is back at the record studio. He has a meeting with his manager, and his manager says, I want Samantha's next album. Like, they're watching an extra news package about Samantha.
Yeah.
Can we talk about the fact that she did a like a video to help support veganism or vegetarianism in
third world countries?
I swear, I think they thought that they were doing a better job parodying celebrity like ventures than they were. Yeah. And do you feel like the character of Samantha, that was like definitely Britney Spears shade, right? Britney and Jessica and this idea. Like,
it was
just
Paris
like,
Hilton shade. So apparently they were Paris Hilton, who was supposedly an inspiration for the Samantha James character. She actually auditioned for the part, but she didn't get it.
So they wrote a part that was supposed to be her, and then she didn't get the part. Girl.
Anna Faris is just that good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 100%. Like
that was the only decision that was good in this movie.
Yes.
Fair. Yes.
And so Chris is like, I don't want to. And the boss is like, well, you used to date her. And he's like, yeah, I ended up in the hospital. Like,
they went on one date. Yeah.
Yeah. But the boss is pretty much like threatening him with his career if he doesn't get her next album.
Also,
so he
all
goes.
The shit that I'm talking, I love seeing Stephen Root in anything. Like, little cameo. I was like, because we had also been watching Succession this weekend, and he's in Barry, and I love that. And obviously, he's on King of the Hill. Like, I love Stephen Root in anything. So always happy to see him.
He always plays such a funny character. He was a nice addition. So we get to the studio because now he's gone to go try to woo Samantha.
Yeah, and we see she's not a great singer.
That's an understatement.
Although I really like her rendition of "You're assholes, you're all assholes," like just screaming at them from the recording booth. That was a very nice touch. Then we see the dumb blonde trope where she's having this whole conversation, but she's in the recording booth and he's like, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. And then she finally realizes he's like, oh, light bulb. Like, yeah, she's an idiot.
And he makes fun of her to her face. Like, he is saying these things out loud and she doesn't care. And she literally jumps him at least 3 to 4 times in this scene and just sticks her tongue down his throat. And it's just a very Anna Faris was still funny, but it was a lot. It was a lot.
And so she pushes him down on the couch, starts taking his pants off. Like, there are people like recording the song with her, just standing there. And then she gets distracted because she's erratic and batshit apparently. And so he's literally sitting there with his pants down around his ankles. I'm like, what is happening here? And it's kind of like, well, you kind of deserve it because you treat women this way. So why can't a woman treat you this way?
Okay, so here's 2 ways that this movie is just literally gulag. Again, everybody to the gulag. So first, like, this movie, like, this is like embarrassing to say because obviously she's not like the model of like healthy sexuality, but like this movie punishes her for being expressly sexual, right?
Exactly.
Like, where it's like very much Madonna horror complex, because why would he be attracted to her when she is very outspokenly interested in him and wants sex? Gross. Women shouldn't do that. Women should only not want sex, which what? But also, like, that whole scene, it's like, so you guys do understand consent. So you do get it. So you don't actually like somebody aggressively pursuing you even though you're not interested. Oh, weird. It's funny that it works that way for us as well. Almost maybe consider applying that logic to that girl you had a crush on in high school and you're still not over.
Wait, so you're telling me girls have feelings?
No, not in this universe, apparently. No feelings, no regard for other people's feelings. Just like for those of us in the real world, though, yes. It's nuts. It just, like I said, it goes out of its way to hate women. It's an achievement in hating women.
So now she's like, I'm going to Paris for Christmas. And he's like, no, I go to California and I stay in Santa Barbara. And she's like, no, you're coming with me. And he knows he has to do whatever she says to try and get the deal done. And so they're on the plane and it's a private jet. And she has this thing where she's only eating fish, I guess. So she's heating up tuna in the microwave of an airplane, which I'm like, the rule is you don't ever heat up fish in a communal space.
Yes.
I doubt
was
she
like-
knows that rule.
I mean, true, but also I was like, this is like further committing to this women don't have empathy thing.
Yeah.
She has no regard. I mean, honestly, though, if you're going to heat up fish in a shared communal space, your private plane, like that logically makes sense. to
Yeah.
me, but it's still wrong. I would.
Yeah.
But also,
And-
it's with tinfoil.
Exactly.
Yeah,
yes.
like who puts tinfoil in the microwave? That's
Somebody
microwave
does.
101.
No, like, all right, now that I know that it's supposed to be Paris Hilton, that like makes a little bit more sense because I've seen Kathy on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I love Paris Hilton, I stand, but like it's possible that oversight
have some disconnections with like everyday
Real world
appliances,
experiences.
and experiences. So the plane is grounded. They're not going to be able to take off till the morning, and they just so happen to be grounded in New Jersey.
What are
And
the chances?
What are the odds?
They're
And
in
so-
New. Are they in Newark?
An hour from Trenton.
Trenton.
Was,
That's
which
it.
I was like, that could mean anything. Like which direction?
New Jersey's not that big.
It's
not,
actually
like
well, yeah.
it takes you like 4 hours. It's like from end to end, like from where I
Yeah.
am to like the furthest south. Like it would probably take like 3 hours or so without traffic.
I won't.
3-4 hours.
I won't put any New Jersey slander on this episode.
Fair enough.
Only when our friend Andrew finally joins us on the show will I go into my New Jersey slander.
Sorry, we deserve it.
Oh, and then also on the airplane, she's showing off her taser that her bodyguard gave her to protect her from fans. This will come into play later as
I
well.
don't get the through line though. Like that whole storyline could have been scrapped from this.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Like, what's the point?
Yeah. It was weird. I must have missed that scene because later on when it does come back up, I was like, where the fuck did the taser come from? But
It
now
doesn't make any sense.
So he's arguing, and she just yells, "Not happy," but I can't remember in what context. I guess that they're going to stay
That
at his
they're
parents'
stuck in
house.
New Jersey. Like,
Yeah, probably.
they can't go to Paris. Like, which fair enough.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I think like because they were supposed to be heading to wherever they were
Yes.
going, and they're grounded in New Jersey, so she's not happy about the fact that the plane.
And then she's convinced that she's being punked and is like screaming for Ashton Kutcher to come
Which
out.
like that's not gonna make sense. I mean, like I don't think
No.
anybody from like Gen Z or later would actually enjoy this movie, but like that's gonna go right over everybody's head.
Well, and
That was like an active fear for people for a long time. Am I
Yes.
being punked?
so they're going to Chris's parents' house, and he goes in. He starts taking down his Jamie obsession wall, and he's talking with his mom, and she's kind of like, "It's weird that you're here. Usually, you send us plane tickets to go to Santa Barbara," and they're kind of talking about how it's been 10 years since he's been home. Enter brother Mike.
Before you get into enter brother Mike, we
Okay,
cannot
go
gloss
ahead.
over the fact that in this scene in front of his mother, that Samantha is visibly groping the shit out
Yeah.
of
This is
Ryan
true.
Reynolds' character.
Yes.
Like
Obviously,
balls
again,
in
no
hands.
regard.
Yeah.
But I think also like the mom character is further committing to this hating women, like
Yes.
this idea that like once obviously she's not going to be attractive to him, she's his mother, but just this idea that she's like clueless and homely and just like they took this like I can't think of the actress's name, I forgot it, but like she's like a famous comedy actress, like she is a very important part of the Airplane movie, like
yes.
you know she's a big deal, and like you gave her this role of just being a moron. Like, because moms are clueless, like, you know.
And I'm just gonna make you cookies.
Anyway, right.
Yeah.
Like, get the fuck. I hate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so enter brother Mike. And I still maintain this is the realest sibling relationship portrayed in a movie I have ever seen. The two brothers where they slap each other and then they're like, "I love you," and handing each other cookies.
That was the only redeeming part of the entire film. Like that one scene where I was
Yeah.
like, all right, that's decent. And would have gone over better if we had seen some sort of growth over the course of the
Yes.
movie. But like, sure, it like I was like, oh, that's nice. Anyway, back to this bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
like back to more like fuckery.
And so brother Mike walks in, immediately recognizes Samantha Jones, and is like, oh my God, is she my Christmas present? Like, I have her poster up on my wall. And the poster in question is Samantha with just a whipped cream bikini, cherries for the nipples, and like about to eat a very phallic banana.
Which is, all of it is very similar to another Amy Smart movie, which is Varsity Blues, where Allie Larder who does the same thing. But in that movie, she uses shaving cream to keep the fullness and it doesn't fall. But in this movie, Anna Faris did use whipped cream on her breast to shoot the poster.
I'm really happy that she's over this point in her career. Like, I'm really happy for her.
And so she's asking him because she's like happy that he has her poster on his wall, and she's like, no shame. And he's like, oh yeah, I slapped the ham to it earlier today. I'm like,
just using weird euphemisms for masturbating in front of your mother. Like,
again, and then the mom's like, not the ham I bought for dinner, and like all of this.
But I'm telling you, between this and like, again, watching Succession, I was just like, who talks about their sex life this much with their siblings?
Yeah.
Like, gross. No, thank you. I just don't want to know. Like, we don't need to know each other on that level.
So now, So now we're going to the local restaurant, and Chris runs into Clark and Darla, who are now married. And
would you be so easily able to jump back into your friendship roles after 10 years and this man has not talked to you at all?
They were very ready to embrace him with open arms. Like, and if it was just the guy, I would have gotten that better. But like, again,
the girl,
nobody has ever met a woman.
Who would have?
And Ken kept saying that. He's like, they had to have talked. Like, it can't be the first time in 10 years they've talked. Like, they're acting like they see each other all the time. Like, it doesn't make sense. But Clark and Darla welcome Chris with open arms, and they're just so happy to see him.
Pre-Facebook, like, I forgot, like, pre-social media, you were able to forget what people looked like.
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh right, like that was the thing.
Yeah, like now you're Facebook friends with people you haven't talked to in 20 years, and kind of just.
And when you see,
like, I'm still like aware, like, you know, like, one of my best friends is like my high school best friend, and we will occasionally send each other like, oh my God, did you see what so-and-so posted? Or like, you know, you're still following people on like LinkedIn and shit like that. Like, you're aware of what people are up to in a way that you very easily.
So we see Sam turns up the crazy to like an 11, and she's very demanding of Chris's attention and time, and she's not getting it because he's talking to Clark and Darla. And then he sees Amy behind the bar. She sees him and like drops to the floor and hides.
As she should, because her life sucks.
I mean, but that's the thing. Like, she's like going to grad school and like needs a job, you know? Like, I know by like 2000 standards that was flopping, but that's like pretty commonplace today. I mean, like, literally I'm recording from my mom's basement right now because of some poor choices that I made financially, you know? Like, it happens.
I think it's just the men behind the cameras who
it's definitely a punishing thing.
Yeah. Oh, she has to
this is definitely a narrative punishment.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the first thing she says to him after like, oh my gosh, hello, is, I can put my arms around you. What the fuck? Like, no, that's not, no.
I don't, it's obviously wrong. I will tell you that it's wrong, but I could see, like, if you were that good of friends with somebody, I could see you feeling comfortable enough to say that. I think what was more confusing to me is that, like, if she's supposedly so oblivious to her effect, like, wouldn't she just think everything was fine after 10 years and be like,
yeah,
oh, hi, like, so good to see you. Like, you think she'd be more excited. So the story doesn't know what it's doing.
And then Anna Faris walks up and hisses at her, which
I want to do that so bad, and I can do it. I don't feel like it would be out of my wheelhouse at all.
She's just like, Chris, but what?
Without missing a beat, like without like that is her like regular response to something she's threatened by, like an actual cat. What an icon.
They try to make her seem crazy in this movie, but I feel like she is the most liberated, female empowering character.
She feels her feelings.
I mean, like, minus the like borderline, like the toe on the line of statutory rape and the consent issues. Take those parts out of her character, she's an icon.
Yeah. She
100%.
does what she wants. She's unapologetic. Like, she's just who she is, and she doesn't give a shit who thinks poorly of her. She's just living her best life.
Yeah.
So at this point, he tells her to go sit down somewhere, Samantha, and then he goes over, pretty much he's saying goodbye to Amy Smart's character, and he's like ready to say goodbye, and he tells her he's only here for that night. She seems kind of disappointed because she wanted to hang out, and then he changes his mind. He decides that he's going to go back and say, you know what, our flight got delayed, and so I'm going to be here for another night. How about we hang out tomorrow or whatever? So she says, let's get lunch. You know, he's ready to cringe on that.
Which is like what you ask your friend to do.
Right, because we are
Like,
friends.
Yeah.
We are friends.
Very obviously, she has a job when she works in the evenings.
Right?
So,
And also, you said you were leaving the next day. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like, it most logistically, it makes sense to hang out for lunch.
And as this whole situation is happening, you have wonderful Anna Faris, Chris, like yelling like an insane person.
They really try to make us hate her. And
yeah, we didn't buy
love her
it.
more.
We bought what Anna was selling.
Like, you forced our hand into empathizing with the villain. Like,
We need-
because you made a hero so insufferable.
Yeah.
Yes. So now we're back at Chris's house, and he's looking at old pictures of him and Jamie reminiscing. Sam's asleep, passed out on his bed. And then we see the next day his brother wakes him up by slapping him. So Chris sits on his head because that's what you do. And they're having this conversation about, like, what do you want from me? I'm not the same guy from high school. And the brother's like, you'll always be fat to me. And essentially Chris asks his brother Mike to babysit Sam so that he can go out on his day date with Jamie. And his brother doesn't have to twist his arm.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
Right?
Yeah.
And he also has to convince Sam to go do an activity. And so he convinces her to go connect with fans at the mall.
Very confused about her level of fame because, like,
Yeah.
nobody seems fazed by her almost anywhere. Like, later on, spoiler alert, at like the rock club, like, fine, I understand them not being fans of her, but like everybody would recognize that she's famous, but like,
Yeah.
but also no,
Not
she's
care.
not. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really get what is happening with that.
Well, maybe it's just like with Paris Hilton. Everyone knew her, but I could imagine like my mom seeing her at the Sam's Club and not giving a shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, like to a very specific demographic, hell yeah, like teenage girls, teenage boys who have crushes on her. But like everyone else, they're just like, whatevs. That bitch don't do
Yeah,
shit.
that's true.
Chris goes over to Jamie's house. Her parents are decorating. Apparently, they always go like Clark Griswold on Christmas decorations. And I'm pretty sure the giant ass snowman was wearing a Burberry scarf. And I was real
Because
confused.
that's what rich people do. Even by suburban New Jersey standards, apparently. No.
And he rents like the most bougie Porsche. Is it a Porsche?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
let me get in a
Yeah,
car.
you did it.
I
You did it. You
I
did it. You
it.
identified a car other than the color. I'm really proud of you.
It's a pretty important plot point, I guess.
Yes.
And I know they put chains on the wheels for the snow. I heard that or saw
Yeah.
something.
Yes, that is a thing.
That is the thing that
Yes.
happens. Yes.
Yep.
Jamie.
But also, if Jamie's parents are rich enough to afford a Burberry scarf for a 25-foot snowman, why is she working to put herself through?
I think it's like a
school?
weird, like, pull yourself up by your bootstraps kind of mentality. Like, it's our money, not your money type of thing, especially considering she like wants to be a teacher. Like it's not great. I don't know if it's the kind of parenting that I would do, but I've witnessed it.
I feel like even for me, like if my parents were helping me with school or something, I probably still would get a job. I still would be trying to save. Or if your parents are emotionally manipulative and they use money as a way to control you, you may want to actually save it yourself and not have to deal with their strings.
But also we're giving all of this too much credit because a lot of the times, like I forgot where I've heard this, but like it's just a plot device. Like making characters rich is just a plot device to just sort of make a catch-all for why all of this exorbitant shit is happening around them.
True.
Well, and she is and I mean, I did this, so I get having two jobs, but like, so she's subbing during the day and then working at the bar at night. Like, how much money does she need?
Maybe she's just subbing over winter break. I mean, not subbing. Maybe she's just
bartending over
winter break.
That
and over summer, but like she just does it when school's not in session.
I believe that in this session alone, we put more thought into the plot of this movie than the actual writers.
So right.
It's true.
We're so sad.
I don't remember the specifics, but Jamie's dad makes some condescending remarks about how he used to follow her around and was obsessed with her pretty much.
Yeah, that he's
Subway joke, which like if you would have just waited a couple years, you could have just slipped in pedophile instead of the F slur.
Yeah, homophobe alert. He uses a slur. And he also says that Ryan Reynolds' character, what is his name?
Chris.
Yeah. Chris ends up sending flowers to Jamie every Valentine's Day when they were in high school, which used to piss off all her boyfriends.
12 dozen roses. What high schooler can afford that much in roses? That's the part that took me out of the movie.
And then she comes out. They're both in the car and they don't have the windows up. And I'm like, the hell no.
I don't understand. That's bullshit.
Well, I found a note that said that they probably did this because they wanted to prevent the reflection from the window of the car. So they kept it rolled down. They didn't want you to be able to see the camera.
That's a very good point. Makes a lot of sense.
And then they go to their hangout spot from childhood, which is like some diner. And
yeah, that's what we do. Like dead, I'm like not joking. Like,
yeah, Jersey is known for their diners for sure.
That's probably where you would go. Yeah, I've done that.
And they have their regular waitress and she's super excited. She doesn't even ask him what his order is going to be. She gets like all nostalgic and brings what they always have.
Consent does not exist in this universe.
No. And so in this scene, I actually was on his side because he's probably worked really hard to lose the weight. And he said he hasn't had carbs and sugar like this in years. And it's a slippery slope, man. He's very dedicated. And you want me to, sit here and say, it's okay. This crazy lady just brought me all this shit.
But at the same time, could he have been a little bit nicer about it?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yes. But I feel like I've had those moments when you're triggered.
Yeah.
And you can be a dick. That's the only time
but
that
if we had gotten any other indication that he was a halfway decent human being, I would agree with you.
Yes.
But he just treats any woman who's not serving his purpose like she's some kind of animal.
It's the only time in the movie I empathize. The only time. Let me have this one thing.
Fair enough. I appreciate it.
Well, I was very appreciative that Jamie's regular meal was not like a salad, because
that's a great point.
It was a grilled cheese with a side of ranch, and I'm like, that sounds
gross.
Delightful.
Oh yes, delightful.
Like fuck ranch, but like that's gonna be my most controversial opinion. Fuck ranch, but like that's my diner order, Yeah,
but
like,
then
I love grilled cheese.
She switches with him. I'm like, it's still bread and cheese. Like, he probably is on like a low carb diet, and you literally gave him a soup bowl full of ranch dressing. Like
he says he's gonna drink water. So
yeah.
Well, no, he says and he like takes one sip. Oh, because I think we forgot to mention that like he discloses his plot to his brother, who I did not realize he was on the phone with at first. I was like, oh, you guys are close? Okay, whatever. Then he's like, I'm just going to be a piece of shit to her because that's what she liked when she was 18 and obviously has not grown as a person at all. He doesn't say all that, but that's what I heard. And although I do need to say, like, that's where my husband was like, this is where I take issue with the way he was behaving. He's like, you went from wanting to date her that whole time to now only just wanting to sleep with her to make a point. That's shitty. And I was like,
Yeah.
look at you. Look at you.
I love a feminist husband.
He's great. No, he's great. He still walked away from this movie being like, it's good. I'm like, there's a lot of work to be done. But
baby steps.
Good foundation. There's a good foundation.
I'm starting off better than a lot of other people. So.
You are.
And so while all this is happening, Anna Faris is at the mall and she's trying to connect with people. Instead, she's just picking fights. And Mike is watching her, but then Ryan Reynolds calls. And so he's on the phone with him, turns his back. Anna Faris gets in some sort of kerfuffle and she somehow gets tased.
Yeah, he tases her because he's playing around with it.
With the taser.
And she not only gets tased, but she falls from a second story.
She would literally be dead.
Yeah,
she would be dead.
Yeah. And
that's not hyperbole. She'd be dead.
I thought like a good plot line would have been, okay, they're stuck there for more time because like I expected to see her when Chris comes back, to see her like in a full-on body cast or something.
Yeah.
And instead,
that would make sense.
Yeah. Instead, it's an ice pack and a full tube of toothpaste that she's eating.
And
because she took mom's Vicodin.
Because moms always have hard drugs. And that's not, I'm not being sarcastic. That's 100%. Like moms always have some narcotics in the house.
So prior to seeing Anna Faris's condition, we see Chris saying goodbye to Jamie at the end of the date. It's awkward as fuck. Like he goes in for a kiss and
she goes in for a hug. She turns her face a million times. And
then he ends up like humping her, shaking her type motion.
So bad. It's
they
like
did that weird, like her eyes are crossed. Like what was that?
I don't.
They call it the body shake. And apparently this happened to the writer Adam Davis on a date in real life.
No, it didn't. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now that I know that his perception of every interaction with women is skewed, it probably didn't happen anything like this.
It was like
it's her squirming to try to get away. And
yes.
So
yeah, now we are inside and we see Anna Faris has an ice pack bandaged to her head.
An old timey, like, where did you even find one of those? Like,
his
mom.
His like one of those water bottle-y things. She's eating a tube of toothpaste and she's out of it because she was given mom's Vicodin. And so Chris is like, what the fuck happened? Mike's explaining and he's like, it's fine. She's happy. She has her toothpaste. And what Anna Faris eats this scene up. Like she just, it is so fucking weird and wonderful. And it's like, I feel like in the script, it was just like Mike and Chris are talking. And then Anna Faris came up with this whole thing where she comes up and like blows a bubble of toothpaste on the side of his face and is licking it off. Like, it's perfect. Like,
I appreciated that she just went for it, you know?
Yeah.
Fully committed to like gross humor in that.
Yes. Moment. After that, we see Jamie's always doing something really weird when Chris calls. So in this scene, she's washing the dog.
With her thong visible, as one does.
Yes. Like fully clothed, but like thong visible in the bathtub with the dog, shampooing the dog while talking to Chris on the phone. They're talking about going ice skating. And then later on, she's like supposed to be baking, but really she's just stirring batter for an absurdly long amount of time and then just starts licking the spoon. Like, I'm like, I don't know what's happening in the scene. And
because
this is
weirdly like sexualized situations.
Yes.
Because, like, Of course, she's doing an activity that involves the shower. Of course, she's doing something where she has to be licking something. Of course.
And these scenes have always bothered me, even like Y2K Jackie. I was like, but why though? What is the reasoning where he can just stand in his family room and talk to her, but she has to be in the bathtub with her dog? I don't fucking get
dog
it.
that we don't ever see again, right?
No.
Like no narrative significance to the dog, go figure.
It's just weird.
Just an excuse to get her in the shower, I guess, on the phone.
They make plans to go ice skating. He goes to look for his ice skates. Mom gave them away or threw them out because he hasn't been home in 10 years.
No shit.
She kept the ice thingy.
Oh, the snow globes. My
Yeah.
snow globe collection.
Which also, like, yeah, dude, she didn't want to fuck you, not because you're fat, but because you're weird.
Yeah.
Like, you have weirdo tendencies.
You have an obsession wall with her face plastered all over it. You wear your retainer at weird times during the day, and you have a snow globe collection. Like, what the fuck is happening here? So now we're ice skating, and Chris is mad because he has to use rentals, and they're ice skates. They're not ice hockey skates, and he doesn't.
And we
skate
all
well.
know that rental skates have the same powers as the ball from Space Jam, and just suck any. If he's that really good skater, like that kid skater, like, if you're that good of a skater, you should be able to do it in any skates. What's your problem? So, like, where did all the talent go? It just needed to humble him, but in like the story is humbling him, but in like the worst, least sensical ways.
Because now he's being shamed by children.
Of course.
And
this gave me Adam Sandler's Billy Madison vibes.
Right.
Yes.
But at least then Adam Sandler had a reason to be the only adult playing it again. Then they were like, we need 2 more bodies. And there are dozens of children around. It's like, yeah, let's ask the one fully built adult man that none of us know.
Right. Stranger danger.
And all of these kids, Jamie has substitute taught. And so they're all rooting for her, and they're like making up names for him. They call him Suckster. And so, and then he's going to prove a point because they're all giving him a hard time, and he's being shamed by children. So his solution is to fucking check them, slap one in the head to get to the goal. Like, so now you're just abusing children.
Yep.
Yeah.
You're just straight up abusing children to try and impress this woman who teaches said children.
And of course, he tries to slap it in the goal. It hits the goal post or whatever. It boomerangs back and hits him, knocks him the fuck out. Ambulance comes. They have to pull him up the goddamn snow hill. And then once he gets to the top, then we see Chris Klein's character. He's Dusty Dinkelman, who was in the beginning of the movie trying to play the guitar, and he reconnects with Jamie.
Well, because Jamie sees Chris's injuries and faints, and Dusty rescues her and carries her back up the hill.
Which, like, girl, if a little bit of blood scares you, I don't know how cut out you are to be an elementary school teacher.
Yeah.
If body fluids skeeve you out, I don't know how well this is gonna go.
You're not gonna
100%.
And so after Chris falls down again and he's all fucked up, his mouth is fucked up, and they finally get him in the ambulance. They take him to the hospital, whatever. And Jamie connects with Dusty pretty much in that scene. Does he ask her out in that scene? I can't remember. But I know Chris is like,
kind of, isn't it like exchange numbers in the ambulance?
Yes, they exchange numbers. And then
Chris has to go to his friend Clark, who happens to be
a dentist.
His assistant, no dental hygienist is going to wear a deep V blouse,
I didn't even
leaning over
that,
people.
Of course.
Yeah, leaning over people to work on their teeth.
Yeah, they usually wear like a shirt under, but it's usually not a deep.
Mine just wear scrubs, but
right,
like,
and just like she's just all up in his business too. She's like, oh, for another date. Like, you've got a lot of opinions for somebody who has not been involved in this story.
The whole time I saw her, I thought that was his wife. And
Me too.
I thought so too.
I was like, damn, they couldn't have also made her a dentist. And my husband was like, that's not even his wife. I was like, oh, whoa.
I kind of felt a little racist in that moment. I said white
I
women
know.
didn't be white women in because I don't know. She looked like I thought it was his wife.
Make her blonde so we know not his wife.
Right. What happened to the so we learned in a few episodes back, Sonya, that white people in movies, when they have diversity, it's diversity of hair color.
Well, yeah, obviously. Duh.
So I was very perplexed that we had two main characters that were blonde, not a redhead in sight. And then the wife and the hygienist were both brown haired. I'm like, what are we doing?
Which also means that they just straight up didn't give Darla a job.
Yeah.
Like, fuck Darla, right?
Yeah.
She's got a kid. That's her job. And believe me, that is not shade at all to stay-at-home moms. It just was like, you could have narratively found
something to show
like
her
given her a crumb of story.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Even instead of just assuming, oh, right, she obviously is with the kid because that's women's work.
And so Chris is at his friend, the dentist / orthodontist. He says he has to wear his retainers for a couple of days till the stitches come out, which
doesn't make any sense.
No.
His teeth would have been knocked out. He would have needed new teeth. He would have been toothless.
Well, he had veneers, and I thought for sure that they were gonna give him like a missing tooth, or they would have like the veneer would have come off or something, but yeah, none of it made sense. And let me just tell you, that was a GD. He was a general dentist, not an orthodontist. So I don't know where he got the right of being putting no retainers in and getting a retainer fit that quickly, because that's not what happens.
No, not at all. But like, again, he also probably wouldn't have had any teeth. But like, so I like kind of like forgot, as much as like we were talking before about what Ryan Reynolds looked like at this time. Were those like veneers for the movie, or are they making fun of the fact that he just like straight up did not have good veneers in this point in his career? Because I couldn't really tell, because I was like, they sort of just made like a passing reference, because like, why would he put all that work into like whatever they're called, retainers, if he was ultimately going to get veneers?
I don't know. I don't know why.
Thinking about this way more than anybody who made the movie would.
I wasn't sure if they spoke about it because there was going to be this scene, but they didn't pull it together. So it's all. But like from the
beginning, I was like, "Damn, his teeth look terrible."
I did not even look in his mouth until he was making me look in his mouth. Unfortunately. So what happens after this?
While Chris is at the dentist, Sam's horny. And so she's hitting on the brother.
She does ask if he's of his age. She does make sure
she does.
That he's 18. So.
Yeah. And he says he's 18. And she's like, do you have baby oil? And so he's like giving her a massage. He's into it. She's into it. Like, go live your best life.
My personal advice to anybody still out there, getting it, is like, don't have sex with anybody who wouldn't appreciate the opportunity to have sex with you. Yes. And I feel like that's where I'm being serious. Like, don't have sex with anybody that's not going to appreciate the opportunity. And like, what better example of that than like, yeah, you're going to give this kid the time of his life. Yeah, like he's obviously enthusiastically consenting. And that's got to be a good, good deed.
Yeah, but apparently Chris does not like this, because he comes home, catches them halfway in the act. He pushes his brother off, which I'm surprised. Like, I thought he wanted her off his hands. So
right? Who cares?
Yeah, but he did not like that.
And so this turns into a fight, and the amount of homophobic slurs that are used in these couple of scenes where the brothers are fighting, it's on the brothers and not so much Chris's end. I think Chris may say one thing derogatory, but the brother is just letting them fly. It's not a good look.
2005, baby. Ooh,
cringe.
And so Chris calls Jamie to see if she wants to go, to thank her for the get well card, and to see if she wants to go see The Notebook.
Because he's now in his pussy feelings, apparently.
Right. Now he's decided that the way to get her back, because she was interested in Dusty, was to be not the sensitive guy he was before, but an overly sensitive guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God. The scene is atrocious. Like, yeah.
And how'd she get that basket so fast? That's all I was thinking about.
especially during the holiday. You know, she
Yeah.
probably just is like the kind of person that just like throws together a basket.
I just have this stuff at the house. No.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
And so to get rid of Sam again, he tells his brother to take her to karaoke night at the local coffee house.
Yeah.
And so
open mic night.
yeah. And so Sam and Mike go on their way. Chris dresses the part. He dresses in clothes that he had from 10 years ago. And then Jamie shows up. She has Dusty in tow and then invites Chris's mom to all go see The Notebook together.
Yeah, Dusty invites Chris's mom. And
Look,
so my
Dusty,
mom,
but that's a move. Like that was smart.
Yes.
Like, 3 steps ahead.
But my mom would have been like, no. Like, no, I'm not going on
Obviously,
this weird
his
date.
mom is dumb.
Yeah.
Like they've made that clear. His mom is oblivious.
So tragic.
And we're now at The Notebook.
Jackie loves
Because-
this movie so much.
I fucking hate The Notebook so much.
Fair enough. Honestly, I saw it once and I was like, you know,
It's a movie.
I've seen it. I've seen it.
And Ken's sitting there going, I don't remember this part. I'm like, she has fucking dementia. She can't
Literally,
remember
like-
anything. And they're about to die in bed together. Like,
And-
can we?
And I was dying because I'm like, you know, obviously, because he's like mad that she's like not making a move. And it's like, yeah, like what's hotter than like a woman suffering from dementia and having like 5 minutes of lucidity, you know, like that'll really get my
Yes.
gears going. And then he's like, this is so gay. And then like 2 gay guys are making out, which I'm like, that makes even less sense. That like, yeah, like 2 gay guys, this is really a moment where you want to passionately make out with somebody. What
Right?
is wrong? Like at least do the scene in the rain or something. Like,
Yeah.
not the saddest scene at the end.
It's probably all they could get rights to. They couldn't put Ryan Gosling on the screen with
True.
Ryan Reynolds.
Too Canadian. Too
Mhm.
aggressively
It's
Canadian.
too aggressively Canadian. So everyone's crying. Chris is rolling his eyes. And then we see Sam is at what used to be the coffee shop and now is the metal shop. She's still trying to perform. She's getting booed off stage. She's screaming at people. She jumps into the crowd because she apparently is aggressive. And it's just not a great time. No one's having a good time. And they get back to the house. Dusty takes off, but Jamie stays. Mom makes cocoa and they watch old home movies. And so you see how they used to be and how they were really great friends and they're kind of reminiscing and stuff. And then Chris takes Jamie home. They're playing a mixtape that she made for him. And they're kind of for a moment back to how they were in high school. And
So when I realized I don't think outside of him asking what she's been up to, like if he's asked about her at all, or like
yes.
she shared a single thing about herself outside of the fact that she's going to grad school and she substitute taught. So he's in
Absolutely.
love with this, like it's like very like Little Mermaid of him to be like, I saw you once and I liked you then. I'm
Yeah.
sure you're 100% the same person now with like, you know, with no growth whatsoever. Cool.
Yeah.
So the brother calls and he's like, shit's gone sideways. So they have to kind of wrangle Sam back in. This is where the Christmas cookie, where they slap each other, and it's like, brother hands him a cookie and
Mhm.
says, I love you too. And then he realizes the brother left the Porsche's windows open all night. So he has to ride his bike to go to Jamie's the next day. He shows up. Dusty is somehow performing for her entire extended family in her house, and he's singing Jamie Smiles, and she's just like, oh, nice. Thanks. And while this is going on, one of the really great scenes in this movie, obviously it all involves Anna Faris. So Mike is like brushing his teeth in the morning, blah, blah, blah. And then he like opens the medicine cabinet and then closes it, and like Sam's standing behind him and he screams. And she's just like, where is Chris? Tell me.
Because she heard Chris the night before telling his brother that he was going to go on a date with Jamie or try to go see Jamie, and she like realizes what the hell's going on.
Yes. And then Clark is also at Jamie's house. And so he's kind of giving Chris a pep talk. And he's like, Dinkelman, Dinkelman. And they're just like angrily yelling Dusty's last name. And then Clark tells Chris he's so Jersey, he skis in his jeans, which I found hilarious.
That is a very good burn. It's a solid burn.
And then we see Mom's Volvo crashing into all of Jamie's parents' Christmas decorations.
Poor thing.
Oh my God. This whole scene is like the most genuinely funny part of the movie. Like there's one scene, one part that like we rewound and watched like at least 3-4 times.
And I love how her range of rage in this movie is a beautiful thing to see. Well, she doesn't come at it like, how could you do this to me? It's more like, you're gonna pay, sucker. Like she
Well, she's screaming at Jamie, but like Grandma's standing there. She goes, that's you, Wrinkles.
Because she goes, like, whatever. She's like, you like Santa's little whore. And the old lady's like, me? Like, no, like talk about like literally the best acting in the whole movie. Her line delivery, she so sincerely thinks that she's getting called out. And then that's true. Like Anna's response of like, not you, Wrinkles, and like pushes her aside. That was the funniest scene in the movie, hands down.
Yeah, all the decorations are aflame. She drives off. The reindeers are like trailing behind her and everything. And so Chris is in his feelings. And so he's in his bedroom and he told his mommy he had a tummy ache. And and also in the scene where he goes to Jamie's house, he had a letter that he was going to give her. And after Dusty's grand gesture, he kind of just left the letter on like a sofa table or something and left. And so Jamie walks into his room and was like, where's the guy who wrote this letter? This is the guy that I remember. And so
this whole scene, she pretty much puts herself out here and she goes into the bathroom. This must be a man fantasy. She puts on like a collared, one of his collared shirts.
That's not comfy.
No,
I was so enraged, but she was trying to be coy. She can't like narratively. She has to be the Madonna in this situation, not Madonna, but like Madonna horror complex Madonna,
right?
Where it's like she can't obviously want sex. She has to be demure but still appealing.
So she gets in the bed. He's all in his head now. All of a sudden,
he has a conscience.
He has a conscience, but it's not even just a conscience. It's the whole, he realizes that he doesn't just want to sleep with her,
which is stupid because that's not what he wanted at the beginning.
Yeah. He wants to be with her. He wants her to love him. He wants to love her. What's going to happen next? And I think they're in their mind, these guys who wrote the movie were trying to make a parallel that it's almost how like a woman would think, of what's going to happen next. Which they love to tell us that men don't think about that, but they do.
Well, like what I was so confused about during this scene was like, there was no real indication that she had feelings for him back. Like this whole scene, I was like, wow, are they really still trying to do the thing where she's so oblivious and she's just going to press her butt up on his dick? And like, you know what I mean? Like she had no idea still at this point in her life. And then the next scene, she's like, I can't believe it. Like I tried everything except like literal communication. Except like actually telling him I wanted to sleep with him. And like, he didn't sleep with me, girl.
And then he goes to his friend, the dentist, to say, I didn't sleep with her. And the guy's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's like, I don't know. I just started thinking about how I want to be with her. What's going to happen tomorrow? And all sorts of stupid shit. So ridiculous. And then his friend is going to take him to the airport. He's finally just like, he's going to give up and he's going to go to the airport. And
just prior to this, they're at the hospital and they see Dusty singing his Jamie Smiles to Janine and like aggressively making out with her.
Very practically dressed for work at a hospital.
She didn't look like she was wearing
a nurse
pants.
costume.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a Halloween costume.
Yes.
It was not a nurse's uniform of any sort.
I don't ever see nurses wearing that like stereotypical white outfit anymore. They were always wearing scrubs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
no, by 2005, like they were wearing scrubs in hospitals.
Right.
Like you just wanted to objectify this random woman. Go for it.
Yeah, and then that's when Chris was just like, I'm done. Clark's taking him to the airport, and then he has a change of heart, yanks on the steering wheel. I kind of looked down during this part.
Mm-hmm.
But
it was an orange car.
This is about where I like completely zoned out. Like, you're literally telling me what happened at the end of the movie because I stopped paying attention.
Yeah, he turns the car around, pretty much almost crashes the car, that he feels like he has to go tell Jamie about the cringiness of Dinkle or whatever his name is, Dusty
Dinkelman.
And so they go to the church because apparently Dusty's playing a children's church concert. I don't know. And this is the time where he's trying to tell Jamie, like, I have something to tell you. And it's pretty much about Dusty's, and she's telling him to stop his shenanigans or whatever.
And then we get this scene. Where he says, would you care to join us in a carol to celebrate the birth of our Lord?
I feel like that was in the trailer.
Yeah,
like, I don't know why all of a sudden that came back to me and I was like, oh yeah.
Yeah, that shit was ridiculous.
But like as soon as I saw him poke his head through, like I paused it. And Ken and I looked at each other. He goes, that's the background. I was like, that is the background.
Iconic.
We knew. So yeah, but Chris is trying to tell Jamie, like, hey, he's a fucking player. He's essentially trying to seek revenge on you for putting him in the friend zone.
With no sense of irony whatsoever.
Right? Like, he's the bad guy. I'm like, but you're the bad guy too.
Can you believe that he's manipulating you into just playing nice so you'll sleep with him? It's like, yeah, we can believe that.
I just love that he's 100%, Dusty's like, I am what I am.
Yeah.
I'm doing what you doing.
I could not believe literally the most direct and effective communication of the entire film is Dusty's monologue at the end of being like, whatever, like, I don't care. I wanted to sleep with you. And if that's not what you're interested in, then I'll find somebody who is. And then goes on his way.
And I can't believe she was shocked by that either.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, she has no idea about the effect she has on men. So, of course, she's going to be caught off guard.
I mean, Dusty literally tells her, what kind of girl would you be if you didn't put out for the guy who wrote you a song?
It's mean, but it's funny. It's fucked up, but it is funny. Like, that is a funny sentence, but it's wrong.
And then Jamie kind of confronts Chris about like, oh, why didn't you make a move? Blah, blah, blah. And he like goes on this tirade about how he's been torturing her or she's been torturing him since the 6th grade. Now you know how it feels. You peaked in high school. And then she just punches him.
Oh, so gratifying.
Square out. Oh. And so then he's sad on the plane back to LA. He's walking to his house and literally throws his suitcase over the hill.
Impractical.
So impractical.
This is how I think. I'm just like, wow, that's a dumb decision. Suitcases are expensive.
Yes.
You're just going to have to go get it later.
He won't. He's going to have to replace everything in the suitcase, which is worse.
And so he goes in, sits down on his couch, and he sees Sam's guitar. Sam is like creeping up behind him with cookies. He jumps up. She's still really pursuing that dick. Like, she's just like, hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses.
But also, I think it's so interesting that she says, like, I'm trying to do what you wanted from that girl. But like he's like, no, that's stupid. Why would you think that? When that is the entire plot of this movie.
Yes.
Tell me what.
She has this like he has this idea in her head of like who she was when she was 18, and like I said, has not obviously grown at all as a person and not learned from any of her mistakes, but like he's still going to use that as his like guiding light of how to treat her. But then when Samantha does the same thing to him, he's like, ew, gross, what an idiot you are for even thinking that you would ever be that attractive to me.
Tell me why this entire scene, I don't know how I got this confused, but I was like, oh, they're back in California at her apartment.
They are. At his house.
Yeah, at his house.
Okay.
It's very confusing because then he immediately flies back to New Jersey, which is bad for the environment, but
not before Sam says we'll be the greatest musical manager team since Jessica Simpson and her dad.
That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. Because then you like miss the whole part where she's like, except we can like have sex and it's not weird.
And Sam is now like becoming this desperate person that's like, do you want more than one woman? Blah, blah, blah. I can do that too. And
that's sad. That's heartbreaking. Yeah. For him. Ew. Like the character. You know what I mean? Like, and just like all this for him.
And she does get in one last Darla. And so he says, you can't force or torture someone into liking you. And so then she starts yelling at him. And then he just leaves and gets on a plane back to New Jersey for New Year's.
Again, he like says that line. And if this was a better written movie, not by somebody who felt like they lived it and felt wronged and didn't like have any sort of like self-awareness, like that would be a moment where he'd realize to himself like, oh, I can't expect her to feel that way about me just because like in a normal movie, which the movie still, if you wanted to be like 2000s humor and age poorly, you can still have that happen and like check the character every once in a while. Yeah. Because if that would have been a moment of self-reflection where it's like, oh shit, that's what I was expecting from her. That's not fair of me. Like that would have been, I would be at least a little bit more rooting for them to get together at the end.
Yeah. And so he shows up at Jamie's house. She slams the door on him. I can't blame her. But then
fair enough.
He apologizes through the door. And she's like, can't we just be friends? And he says no, because I'll always want more. And then she's like, why are you back here? And he goes into this tirade about want to take you on a date and have beautiful babies and marry you and I love you. And apparently that was all she needed to hear. And then the end scene is the neighbor's house, I guess, are 3 of the kids that were in the class she substitute taught. And it's a girl and 2 boys. And it's like one hands the girl a cookie and she's like, oh, here, I'll share this with you, shares it with the other guy. And then essentially tells him, you're my best friend. And he gets this look on his face. Like the cycle continues.
So this movie is so lacking in self-awareness. Like, just like, this is not a healthy way to go into interpersonal interaction.
No.
Like, that's it. But the movie makes you think so. So there's a bunch of people still internalizing this message to this day.
Yes.
So my friends, that is just Friends. We're done.
Well, raise your hand if your rating is higher than a same day rental.
Not before Sam says we'll be the greatest musical manager team since Jessica Simpson and her dad.
That's funny. I'm sorry. That's funny. Because like then you like miss the whole part where she's like, except we can like have sex and it's not weird. Oh my god, it's like literally would walk by it in the store. Can we give it like negative? What's the negative rating? I turned it off and I turned to my husband and I'm like, I'm so excited to never watch this movie again.
Well, it's a unanimous. Jackie, am I correct?
I mean, yeah. I own it only because my Y2K self was like, I remember enjoying that movie and it's like $4.99, so I'll just buy it to watch it.
Right.
But It's not going to be a go-to, and you know my feelings about most Christmas movies anyway. So I am satisfied with the same day rental.
I'm glad it's over.
Although I have to say though, I forgot to bring this up. I realized this movie is 3 movies in one, so I want to break down the 3 alternative movies that could have happened with potentially better writing.
Okay.
Plus the bonus of like, what if it was focused on Jamie having to come back to her hometown, having to like while she's out of money and like trying to save up for grad school? That would be great. This movie could have been just focused on the Chris and Jamie storyline, with or without a better version of Sam as his girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think she could have been a better crafted, like their story about how they're together. Like they could have just been like an annoying LA couple, and he could have realized he didn't like her, very Hallmark kind of style. Chris and Sam specifically, where like he thinks he's so LA and cool, and then he comes home and then has this like, and like basically like a Hallmark movie, you know, like comes from the big city to back to a small town. Or Chris versus Dusty for Jamie, which obviously is rife for problematic elements, but you know, she could just be like, fuck both of you, fuck neither of you. Like,
yeah.
I don't want either of you. You're both terrible. You lied.
Yeah. Or Jamie, he comes back thinking he's gonna win Jamie over, and she married Tim.
That's true. Or like, and that's the thing. Like, I didn't understand why her and Dusty weren't together from the beginning. Oh yeah, Tim. Oh yeah,
Tim, her high school boyfriend.
What if Chris and Sam came to town as the annoying LA couple, and then at the end, Jamie and Sam get together,
like Enchanted, like that kind of
Yes.
storyline. Yeah, no, I ship that.
Yeah.
I ship them.
Something else. Well,
Right,
Well,
anything but the way the movie turned out.
yes.
anything.
And I think the only other fun fact that I find fun is that to keep up with Samantha's continuous aggressiveness and hysterics, Anna Faris continually drank Red Bulls before filming. That poor girl's kidneys.
I saw that fact in this, and I was like, I hope you're going to talk about that, because that's
Yeah.
really funny.
We can tell.
I also like it's interesting, and a bullet dodge. Bradley Cooper almost played Chris Klein's character, Dusty Dinkelman.
You know, Chris Klein is a better casting for that. Like, and I love
Yeah.
Bradley Cooper, and like, I think that he's good at playing that sort of like nice guy douchebag. But like, yeah, no, you need somebody that would more convincingly be like awkward in the beginning, and like, that
Yeah.
Bradley
Yeah.
Cooper could not have achieved early Dusty Dinkelman.
100%.
He also doesn't look like a Dusty Dinkelman, and for some reason it works for Chris Klein. Like, make that make sense. Why does Chris Klein, who has the most generic, like handsome name, actually also simultaneously look like a guy who would be named Dusty Dinkelman?
Right?
I don't know.
Facts. 100%. So, wonderful listeners, if you have any hot takes from this very feminist episode, because we did not hold back, hit us up on the social handles: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and YouTube at No More Late Fees. And Sonya, tell everybody how that they can follow along your journey as well on social.
So you can find me just like these lovely ladies did by following me on TikTok, where I post sometimes at No Chillery Banks. And you can follow me on Twitter at Sonya Marie Says, where I think, like I said in the preview, a bitch be crying sometimes.
You need something more robust than sliding into our DMs, hit us up on our voicemail at our quick drop 909-601 and MLF 909-601-6653. Leave us feedback, suggest future movies, other ways this movie could have gone that wouldn't have been a hot shit show.
And also, we are ending the year, and we're doing a special bonus episode, and we would love to hear your feedback on some of our past episodes. Which episode was your favorite? Which anecdote was your favorite? Anything that you want to let us know, hit us up on the quick drop, and we will feature you in our bonus episode. And we just want to thank our special guest, Sonya, for joining us, letting us slide into her DMs and be friends with us.
This
We
was so much
appreciate it.
fun. Like,
It was
what a
so
fun.
fun.
I had so much more fun discussing the movie than I did watching the movie.
It happens
How
more
you
than
know?
you think.
I believe it, honestly. So, like, that was I meant to like preface this episode with like, guys, I'm not a feminist killjoy all the time. Like, sometimes I'm capable of being fun.
We had fun.
Yeah.
Good. I had fun.
And as always, be kind and rewind.